I drove across the country and back. These three women. Lena, a housewife whose husband no longer wanted to touch her at all. Sloane, she and her husband brought other people into the bedroom. All the stories of men who hadn't sewn enough of their hopes. And Maggie, a girl whose first real experience of love was with her married high school teacher. The thing we can do to understand is to listen.
It's upsetting me in my home, girl, because we feel like, well, damn, if you can't go to bed no chase, where the hell could you go?
I drove across the country and back. These three women. Lena, a housewife whose husband no longer wanted to touch her at all. Sloane, she and her husband brought other people into the bedroom. All the stories of men who hadn't sewn enough of their hopes. And Maggie, a girl whose first real experience of love was with her married high school teacher. The thing we can do to understand is to listen.
Hey, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, my name's Ashley. This is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related. And y'all know we are back like we are every single Sunday to talk three women. Now, y'all, some episodes are better than others. I will say that this episode, I felt multiple things during this episode, and I'll just sit it right there. We have the panel, we have slides, we have everything that we need to get started. So let's bring the people up. Kay, how are you doing today? Happy Sunday. Are you ready to talk about Maggie tonight?
You know, barely, because Maggie's story, I don't know what they wanted us to get here. I don't know what story they was really trying to tell us here. I'm still trying to figure out what was they trying to convey to us.
Baby, that's where I was stuck, because I'm like, y'all are really romanticizing this predatory behavior, and it's coming across very, even her motivations, but we'll get into it. We'll get into all of that. I concur. Next to the stage, Dom. How are you doing today, Dom? You ready to talk about Maggie?
I'm ready to talk about it so we can be done with it. Because as an episode, it was fine. I'm just not as invested in her storyline, but I thought it was a well done episode. I thought it was well done.
He said, I'm just not invested. And this is the story I honestly thought that I would be invested in, right? This young girl, is groomed and seduced by her teacher, but it's nothing that we thought it was going to be. At least I didn't. Last but not least, Tyra over there at The Struggle is Spectacular. How are you today, Tyra? And are you ready to get into Maggie and all of her Maggie-ness?
I mean, not really. I don't care. I don't know what I needed to see. Whatever you saw that would make you anticipate Maggie's story, I felt deep down in my loins that I wasn't going to give a damn about Maggie. And I don't. It was such a drop off from where we left. And I just feel like at this point, it should have been the Lena and Sloane show.
Well, listen, when I read the synopsis at the beginning of the season, and they said, and I quote, hold on, let's bring it up. They said, Maggie summons the courage to tell her parents and the police about a relationship with her high school teacher that's been affecting her life ever since. Listen, with that log line, with that synopsis, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. We're going to get into it. We're going to see what a true predator looks like, how it goes. That's what I thought. But y'all, let's get into it. You know, we have to start here. This is where we start every single time. And Kay, I'm starting with you. What are your overall thoughts of episode 4, Maggie?
That nobody cares about Maggie. Like nobody. Not her drunk daddy. Not her sister letting her out the house with her overgrown husband going to that overgrown party, not that overgrown teacher and his family. Not the Blade even writing this book about Maggie. Don't none of y'all care about Maggie except maybe her black therapist, because he is shocked and appalled at how she has been living this story.
Oh my goodness gracious. Dom, overall thoughts. I know you said it was well done. Any other overall thoughts on this episode?
Well, I thought that what we got what I felt like the log line gave what it promised. I felt like we did see how a predator works. I felt like this episode was, I think the romanticization of it was on purpose because we saw everything through Maggie's perspective. And when you're 16, you do look through a lot of things through rose-colored glasses, and you hyper romanticize all this other stuff. And so I felt like it was, because a lot of times when we see predators depicted, it's always like, you know what I'm saying? It's always like the weird old man from Family Guy. And I'm like, that's not how it happens a lot of times. A lot of times it's the charismatic person, the person that it gets you to trust them. Like, they don't seem creepy to the person they're manipulating. And so I felt like in that vein, it was well done, because it almost made you, like, you had to remember, like, wait, we're talking about a child here. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is real. And I'm like, and then I got the actor who, I mean, he's from Magicians and I like the actor, but they got the dude who looked way too close to the teacher who from Pretty Little Liars, who was also in an inappropriate relationship that they actually romanticized. And so I thought, I felt like that was on purpose. But yeah, so in that vein, I felt like it was done well.
Okay. And Tyra, overall thoughts of this episode? Well, we know you
I mean, what she said, Dom summed it up pretty much. I mean, it felt generic. I don't something about it, of course, because we've seen these scenarios. I just thought it would feel different with Maggie, or we would explore it in a different way. I'm not surprised we were romanticized it because she is 16. I just don't know what they want us to do with it moving forward. Like, I just needed more to be invested in Maggie as a young lady with like I said, they was having a couple drinks. The parents, I didn't see no problem. They was living their best life, having a few drinks. They were chilling, but she just clearly needed some guidance. They made it very clear that she wasn't getting what she needed from any of her family, and she just sought it out in the wrong person. And it was a really good depiction of grooming. I'll say that. But yeah, I would be lying if I was like, oh, I can't wait till we get back to Maggie. No, I'm not saying that.
Oh yeah, So let's meet Maggie. We know she's a student in North Dakota. She weathers an intense storm after accusing her married English teacher, Jason Ralph, of an inappropriate relationship, and we all get that that's coming. So now this was interesting because the episode opens up, and this was one of the first times I noticed this little disclaimer here, but I want to read it because this kind of set the tone in my mind, right? So the story you're about to be told is based on Maggie Wilkins' allegations and testimony that she had an inappropriate relationship with her former high school English teacher, Aaron Nodell. Mr. Nodell denies any inappropriate relationship with Miss Wilkin. He was acquitted of 3 of the 5 charges against him, and the other 2 were declared a mistrial and dismissed. There are many sides to all stories, and the little caption that got cut off was, "This is Maggie's." Now, I thought this was interesting because this man, by the standards of the law, has been deemed not guilty, or there were issues that happened within the trial during the arrest or whatever. What did you think about them leading with this, and did it make you go into the episode any differently, Dom, when you read this?
I wonder, I felt like they had to put this because they're using people's real names and real depictions, so like to stave off any libel type of allegations or lawsuits. And I felt like, and I don't know this to be true because this show was shot a while ago and it's just not coming out, but it felt like this was like in response to the baby reindeer stuff that's going on over at Netflix. Like that, the show came out and they figured out who the lady was, and then she started suing Netflix because it's like that's not actually really what happened. And so it seems like they like covering a basis here, where it's like we're telling this story, but legally this is what happened. And so I felt, so I felt like they put it because they had to, but I also felt like it did kind of temper how I went into, because I'm like, this isn't going to be, so we know how it ends, obviously. So this is, and then when you get into the episode, you're like, yeah, I see why. Because not only are you reporting it years later, but also you don't, and this isn't a critique of the lady, because trauma works in different ways. But I'm like, I was like, you went into this with no evidence. You didn't keep none of the text messages. You didn't have no pictures. You didn't have nothing. It's all he said, she said stuff. He said, she said stuff years later. And nobody prepared this lady for what was about to happen. Like the therapist kind of tried to help, but the cop, nobody she talked to was like, look, this is going to be very hard and it's probably not going to happen. So you need to prepare for that. I thought the therapist was inching toward that when he was telling her to savor that moment. But I was like, nobody makes this lady understand that this is not going to go the way she wanted to. Mm-mm. And yeah, so I felt like with this tag in the beginning and with everything they showed, it should have been clear to everybody that this was the most likely outcome.
Absolutely. Tyra, did reading this little disclaimer temper your, I guess, thoughts going into the show?
Well, yeah, because we don't know these people. We don't know how this ends, even if it is based on true events. For all we knew, she got justice. So the fact that they're opening with this, like, well, y'all really have to come with it in the episode to keep us invested, with us knowing all along how this is going to end. And then when we get the episode and I'm kind of unsure on why she's pursuing it, and it doesn't like solely feel like I'm doing this for the right reasons, because I don't want this to happen to another girl. And it's more so kind of an in-between of, I want him to acknowledge me. He's not, saying, it's just, I don't know what to think about her character, but I'm trying to go in with leniency because she is so young and she was a child. So she might have this warped perception of what it is. So I guess we're just supposed to be looking forward to where she is emotionally and why she wants to pursue this, whether it ended, in her favor or not. But yeah, this was different. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think it is about the journey, because I was left feeling, again, wondering, because in most stories, in most shows, in most movies, you're led in a direction, right? One way or other, for good or bad. And this one was kind of like, how do you want me to take Maggie? What do you want me to feel for Maggie? What do you want me to think? What do you want me to think? Like, what am I supposed to be gleaning from this? But we'll get into it, because my first question was motivation. Kay, did this disclaimer do anything to you? Did it?
No, because they told us this story of this poor girl, and I guess they just wanted us to know at the end, she did all of this for nothing. She fell in love with this married guy who was just pretty much a predator. And none of her family paid attention to her or the signs that this was going on. And it's just like, okay, let's backpedal and do something about it. And it's just like, where were y'all when it was going down?
Yeah. So if you remember from episode 1, and you'll have to go back, right, to remember this, but basically she wasn't making a stink about this. He wasn't present on her mind until she saw him on the news station. And basically he has been nominated to be Teacher of the Year. And this got her wheels churning. She went back to her Twilight book with all the notes in the margins, her keepsake box of all of everything that he had given her, I guess, little mementos of everything. And she basically sends him an email, a letter, whatever. And it's like, I need you to explain to me what this was. And ultimately in the narration in this episode, we hear from Gia that basically she wanted not only acknowledgement, but to know that this was really love. This was a love situation that they had, and he paid her dust. He didn't ignore it. And so all that I can glean from this is that her motivation was, I was ignored. He should have responded to me. Now I'm going to do something about it because I'm pissed off. And CT, yes, the Twilight books, the first one. Tyra, I'm going to start with you. What did you get as her motivation for going down this road? Was this about healing? Was this about exposing him? What was this about, in your opinion?
She's clearly not healed. She's not healed in any way. Shout out to the therapist. I'm glad she's going. But even in the questions that she asked the therapist, you can tell that she's not far removed from that little girl in that classroom. This definitely isn't vindication, or this is like, you didn't acknowledge me, or just some resentment of not only are you not acknowledging me, but you get to go on and live your best life and you're now nominated for Teacher of the Year. Yeah, what about me? What about me? Did you ever think about me? Did he say anything about me? Like she's stuck. She's stuck, and I think we're just going to maybe get a different depiction of how these things could end, because we're used to seeing somebody really, knee deep in their trauma. They're trying to get over the situation and they want to be vindicated. They want the person to pay, because with age, they realize that this isn't what I thought it was. You took advantage of me and you need to pay, regardless of how long it takes me to come forward. She's not there yet. She is upset because he didn't acknowledge her. That first episode, even with this, we see her, stalking the man and trying to congratulate him and sneak and put that card in his mailbox. Like she's not evolved at this point to want to have any vindication for the appropriate reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Kay, what did you think about Maggie's motivation for pursuing this?
Yes. I feel like she should be pursuing it because this grown behind man is a child predator and took advantage of her over he never left his wife and kids for me. And look at him, everybody's praising him when he should, like, where am I at in the story? It was supposed to be me and him, because in her mind, because she romanticized it so much. She went into them Twilight books, romanticized it, and nobody saw what she was saying except for her. Mm-hmm. And it hurt, because she thought somebody was paying her some attention, because obviously Alki Daddy was not doing that.
Oh, child.
Nobody was paying it. She was just cruising under the radar. But she should have been seeking out some kind of justice for being taken advantage of and him breaking the law and ethics, versus he ain't take me on the journey. I should be standing next to him in the Teacher of the Year pictures. That should be me.
Yeah, I'm grown now. We could be together. And basically, we also find out that the catalyst for this, aside from being ignored, was one of her friends. And the friend is the only one who mentioned the possibility of him doing this to other young girls at the school. Dom, what do you think Maggie's motivation is behind going down this route?
I very much hope it doesn't stay this way. I hope that this is actually what her journey is supposed to be, because right now, Maggie is the woman that the internet creates whenever women speak out about men. It's like, oh, you would just now speaking up because he's doing something positive and he didn't pay you the attention. So now you just trying to tear a good man down. Like, that's what she's embodying right now. And it's more out of jealousy than any type of altruistic reason. Like, that's because when she talks to her friend, when she talks to the therapist, when she talks to the police officer, at no point does she bring up the fact that now people will know, so he can't do this to anybody else, or now we can put it out there so nobody will suffer what I had to suffer. That's not where her mind state is. Her mind state is, he didn't give me what I want, and so now everybody needs to know what he did.
Now
and now he's got to pay. And I'm like, and so if that's where she's coming from, because she's been so entrenched in the trauma and she can't wrap her head around the reality of the situation yet, and then through therapy and through this hard ordeal that she's about to come through, she realizes and sees the light, then I'm fine with that as far as a storytelling thing. I just hope we get there. And I just wish that they would have gave these women their own season, so I didn't have to wait so long to figure it out. Because now when we meet back up with Maggie, I'm not gonna care. I'm gonna forget, and I'm not gonna care. I don't even remember the first episode that we talked about. Like, when you told her that it was because he got Teacher of the Year, I didn't remember that. So I'm hoping that they make it a little bit more compelling. And I wonder if the real woman was this into Twilight, or was this a thing in the show? Because making her so obsessed with a book about how a young white woman falls in love with an old man as a parallel to this storyline, I feel like was a little on the nose if it wasn't like a real thing.
I mean, yeah. And I think now that is the one thing I will give kudos to the writers of this episode, because it does call into question that idea of what a perfect victim looks like. And is the reason she's pursuing this, right? Even though the motivation is jealousy, it doesn't negate the fact that what he did was wrong on every single level. And so I do like that we're kind of being I like that we're being pressed with that. So, like you guys said before, we mentioned the therapist, and I was here for this damn therapist. But even when we get to therapy, Maggie is like, well, I wonder what he thinks about this. I wonder what he would think. If the therapist said, I don't give a damn what that predator thinks. Like, why are you still here? What are we doing? In this discussion, we learned that not only has she never told the police, I think a few select of her friends know, but she's never even told her parents. Kay, I'm going to come to you first as the therapist. What did you think of this therapist's approach with this in this type of situation? I know you deal with trauma in some of your patients, a lot of your patients. So is this the approach you would have taken with Maggie if she was your client?
Sometimes you got to bring people into reality, and if they're not, sometimes when they're not seeing the forest for the trees, and I'm trying to give you all the psychological terms and it's still not coming together, then I have to take my therapist hat off and put my mom hat on and be like, look, listen, that's not what you think it is. You're romanticizing something. You're looking at the fantasy of a person versus the reality of this person. And I need you to see the reality of this person. And I know it's hard to see the reality of the person because your reality sucks. Okay. We go back to reality. Your dad's an alcoholic. Nobody cares about you. So if we jump into fantasy land and we start reading Twilight, your teacher is Edward Cullen. That's not where we're at. Okay. He needs to be in jail and you need to wake up. Because sometimes, see, when you try to be too technical with people, they still want to play games. And then after a while, I'd be like, do you want me to listen? Do you want to hear the truth? What we doing today?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that he seemingly supported her, but was stern as well. Like, I don't care about what he's doing. We need to acknowledge the truth of what happened and how can I support you in your next step? Dom, what did you think of the therapist's approach and what did you think of Maggie in therapy?
No, this was one of the better depictions of therapy I've seen on TV. Like, this guy was really good in my opinion. And because at the end when she was talking about after she spoke to the police and he was encouraging her and he was like, that's good. In the back of my mind, I was like, don't leave it there. You got to say something. You got to let her know what's coming. And then immediately he was like, all right, because it's going to get hard. I was like, thank you. And I did want him to go a little bit farther, and maybe because this is a show, so we got to do it episodically. I did want, like I said earlier, him to like prepare her for. I wanted him to prepare her a little bit more for what was about to come. But I did feel like everything he said was good, and I felt like he responded to her well. And I felt like, as far as TV therapists go, this was a better depiction than we usually see. And I think that she's good for going to therapy. I think that's always a hard step. I think that and it's a good framework for the show narratively. Like, for us to jump back and forth in time through therapy is always an easy and clear-cut way to do it. So the therapy sessions is great.
Tyra, what'd you think of this therapy session? Do you think it's serving her and do you think she's taking the therapist's advice at all?
This ain't serving her. This is not serving her at all, or she wouldn't be giving those responses that she was. If it was going to serve her, she needs a whole lot more of it. It's going to take more time. I was glad to see that it wasn't like, well, because people, I think, often think of therapy as like babysitting and coddling, or somebody like, I'm paying you, you're not going to tell me what I want to hear. Like, no, girl, I don't give a damn about that. I'm not in here to, mess around with you. This is what it is and this is what it isn't. And you need to prepare. Like, we're trying to get you to heal. I'm not trying to, babysit you in here. Like, you're not 16 anymore. But them responses, child, I don't know how long she's been going to this therapist, but we need to go a whole lot longer. Because why are you asking him? Like, well, you wonder if he ever, like, girl, what are you talking about? Why is your mind even there? Her mental is not in this headspace for healing.
And that's what's interesting, because I do think this is another point where it brings up this question of how does she have the fortitude or foresight to be in therapy but still be stuck in this other place? It's very interesting. So I would be interested to see what the origin story of therapy was. Was she there under different circumstances and this just happened to tie into it? Or where that came from, because it's interesting that she would be mature enough mentally to know I need some help and support, but still really be stuck in
Because
this.
some people don't know what it really looks like. Like they say, "Oh yeah, I know I have some issues. My dad drink and this man don't, he a predator. So I probably should be in therapy." But they don't really know what it looks like to like really, because that her problems didn't start with that teacher.
It started right
Mm-mm.
there with these two
And
drunkards.
and
Yes.
she has they said she's taking like a bunch of different medications too. And
Mhm.
so I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. Like, did she have to get on medications and then maybe therapy was supposed to help with one of those issues, or did she get did she have those issues, go to therapy, and then get on medication after that? You know what I'm saying? So I think the medication is an indication that she has some like actual issues. And it was like,
Mhm.
all right, she probably had some behavior issues, or she was acting out, or had some performance issues, to where it was like, you need to address this.
There's some stuff, and we're gonna get into it because we're gonna meet some of the stuff that happened even before the teacher comes. But so she finally opens up to her parents, something happened. Okay. And we find out that the parents are toxic as well. And Dad, I'm not here to take care of you in this moment. I'm always taking care of you. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna get my job back. It was literal verbal diarrhea he was spewing out after he's acting like this hurt him more than the trauma hurt her. And I'm like, imagine living in a household with parents that are going to make that their issue and make it about them versus speaking to you and where you're at in the situation. I will say mom may have tried a little bit harder, but to me it was too little too late, because what were you guys doing? You didn't notice a change in your daughter after Hawaii, and we'll get to Hawaii. The other daughter called you, so you knew there was a potential for behavior, right? So, Tyra, what did you think of her parents? Mopsy and Bopsy, the drunkards.
Child, I had a little hole when he grabbed that coat. I thought he was gonna go set it off. I was like, "Oh, you went to the garage?
Yeah, he went right here to cry.
You went to the garage? Oh, okay. I thought you might have been about that life." But yeah, they're making it about them, because it's like, we failed you. We weren't, alert. We wasn't around. You didn't come to us for umpteen amount of time. Like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do the fact that he's saying like, I'm going to do better. I mean, we're still in a state of drunkenness, or late nights and early parties and having a good time with my wife, because that's what it looked like they're doing. They just drinkers. But yeah, he's making it about him, because like, I wasn't there. Like, how could I have missed this? And she's just, it's still not what she needs in this moment. Because even, I'm gonna do, it's like, I don't need that. I was like, hug your daughter, do like, go set it off, get the gun. He just went to the garage. And then the mom, like, they're just really ill-equipped to deal with this. So it says a lot as to why she didn't feel comfortable coming to them in the first place, or why she didn't feel like she needed to confide in them and say, "Hey, there's this older teacher. He's being inappropriate with me." Like this, she needed some attention, because they were only apparently giving attention to each other in some Jack Daniels.
Yeah, because I just feel like my mama was in my business. I didn't have no business in high school. Still, I didn't. Like everything, there was no closed doors in her house. Whatever was in that house was hers. She had access to go through any and everything, and would at will if need be. Dom, talk to me about the parental units. Like when your baby's not a teen yet, but do you
Lord.
think you'd be oblivious to something like this?
No, well, you
I mean,
always
God forbid.
yeah, let me be. I hate to be like, yeah, ain't no way. When it's always something parents don't know. There's always a level of things parents don't know. But at the same time, I feel like when you're invested and you are active and you trying, you don't. There's also some things you just can't not know. There's some things that just can't go on that you don't have some sort of indication or inkling on. And I feel like these parents were just hands off. And I worry, because I'm like you, I didn't have any business growing up, and I always attributed that to me being the only child. All my siblings were like half siblings, so they didn't grow up in the house with me, and so it was just me. So I was like, well, I'm the only child they got to pay attention to, and I'm like, this Maggie is the last child. She's the baby, which is I think why she a little spoiled. But also, so like if y'all messed up this bad with her, how messed up are these other kids? That's what I was wondering. Because yeah, when he stood up and got the coat, I was like, yeah, that's my boy. Yeah, he finna go set this right. Teacher of the year, this would be your last year. But but I was nervous. I was confused because he got up and left, and the wife wasn't like, "No, James, don't go." And because he was just going to the garage. Oh,
To get a drink at that.
yeah, man, this raggedy. But I also think both the parents reacted poorly. I think the mom reacted worse than the dad because the dad was the dad had a range of emotions. Not all of them were good, but his immediate reaction was to apologize for his failure. I felt like that was a good place to start. Then it turned into anger because you was telling him we was fighting. I felt like he was wavy because he drunk and irresponsible, and he's an addict. So it wasn't a great response. But the mom was just kind of like, "You want me to go to the station with you? I brought you a plate. Everything's okay. Are you sick?" It was like I was sick or had a bad day at school. Like, no, I was assaulted. Like the dad was at least tore up about it. Now, how he displayed it could have been better, but he's also a drunk. So he the reason I'm in this mess. So I got a grade on the curve a little bit. The mom to me was just like, oh, I see how everything just happened under your nose because you're not invested. You don't get excited about nothing. You still trying to eat dinner. And so I see how this happened because when you come home from Hawaii and I hear that a 30-year-old man assaulted you. First of all, the sister we got to deal with. I'm gonna deal with the sister on my own time because I might have to show up in Hawaii and deal with all of them in Hawaii. But also, I'm checking. First of all, you going to therapy then, so therapy starting then. When the plane land, you getting a hug and some therapy. So, but these parents just dropped the ball in every sense of the word. So I can't be too mad.
They did. And this is important, Dainty, because absolutely there is a stereotype that all predators are men and all the victims are always women. And that's couldn't be furthest from the truth. And if we haven't learned that in the last, I'd say 10 years with all the exposure that's been done. But Kay, what do you say to that? Because there is still kind of a stigma around men and young men who were victims or too predatory behavior. And then talk to me about the parental units, honey.
I don't know. It's a lot of things going on with this Diddy case that shows that women are not only the victims. Okay,
Come on.
it is definitely not the case right about now, and especially in Hollywood. If you listen to some of these young men, child actors, that'll let you know it ain't just the girls that are predators. They just not speaking up enough. Not that they're not there. We know they're not there. They just don't come forward at the same rate. Because of obvious reasons. And Ashley, you're gonna have to trim this part out, but I probably wouldn't tell my parents anything either if that was my dad and he was a drunk little bitch. Because instead of going, I thought he was like Dom said, we thought he was about to go out there and grab that rifle. Now the way he was drinking, he probably wouldn't have made it all the way there, but it was the intent. We thought the intent was that, oh, somebody, defiled my daughter's pocketbook. I'm about to go set this thing off. And he went out there and cried.
And grabbed a beer.
I said, if you know what, I was like, Maggie, just leave his punk ass right there. Because clearly you're raising yourself. This is why you didn't tell them, because what did they do to help?
Okay, they debunking all stereotypes. Any man like, let it have been my daughter, I would have set it off. Like, no, I'm going to the garage.
Yeah, I'm going to the
Like,
garage.
Ooh, child, this is like this too much. I got to drink.
to work some wood and to have a beer because
I got to take a drink, girl. That was a lot. What?
So we get to the West Fargo police station. She's filling out her statement. My teacher was inappropriate with me. Here, sign the paper. Somebody will be with you in 2 seconds. All right. And so we see her intake process. She meets with the officer who's going to take the official statement, and he wants to know where everything started. And she says, well, what do you want to know? Do you want to know where do I begin? He said, just begin, girl. Just tell me what happened. And we get a glimpse of her in school, and we see her interact with the teacher a little bit. And she makes this huge announcement, but my sister got married to a guy in the military, and I'll be going to Hawaii for the summer, whatever it was, spring break, whatever. And I'm going to have a good time. We get to Hawaii and red flags everywhere. Red flags everywhere. The sister is married to this military man. They're clearly the husband is in his 30s at least, okay? And she just had a baby, and basically the daughter is like, can I go out? Whatever. The husband's like, she can go out with me. And the sister proceeds to let her little sister go out with her husband. First of all, I was like, oh Lord, the husband gonna do something to her. Because why would you send a 16-year-old girl out with your 30-something-year-old military no shade to the military men, but military husband to a grown military toga party? What did you think this was going to result in? Like, either your husband was going to smash your sister, or your sister was going to find somebody in the party to smash. She was going to be deceived, young and turned out, all in Hawaii. And that's exactly what happened. She starts this situation with this man who's 31. Now, I will say we don't know if he knew her true age or not. He was very much about getting consent each step of the way. That could mean, that he questioned her age because she looked young as hell. But nevertheless, they get Bucky naked. It's her first. She goes back. The husband comes out, raises a stink. That's my wife's sister, man. Goes into the house with the sister. What happened? Well, I wanted it. And I did it. Girl, we got to call our parents. I got to call the parents. Girl, you should have never let her out of the house. Anyway, on the back of his moped in his treehouse, this never should have been. Kay, talk to me about this, because there's no way in the world. My cousin, my sister, my friend, my niece, my nephew, this would never be a situation.
First of all, why would you take this child to an adult party? Okay, if you're gonna take her anywhere when I'm sitting here with the baby, I better be going to get some ice cream and bring me and the baby some back. Okay, why are you taking this is adult party? And then why was she accompanied to adult party and I'm sitting here stuck at the house with the child? Actually, matter of fact, you come babysit and me and my sister want to go hang out. Because what are you thinking? Let me spend some time with my sister. You bounce little Tommy.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way.
Because there is no way that they could have logically put this, that it would ever made sense to me. Ever.
Never. Dom?
This was actually, and let me explain why. This was actually my favorite part of the episode. And this was, to me, the best part of the episode, because the dynamic between her and the dudes that she actually slept with, I think, was intentionally vague, because and the actress is 28. The actress who plays Maggie is 28. And I think that it's important for that situation to be vague, because the man she slept with could be in the wrong, could not. We don't know. But that's not that's not the important part about this, because the important part about this is that there were so many dropped balls to get her in that situation, that because the idea that men like that are out there, the idea that your men who will take advantage of your daughters are out there, will never change. We will never get to a point where those men don't exist. The job of every person who has a responsibility to a younger person, whether they're man or female, is to not let these people get into those situations. And the problem starts, I guess you could say it starts with the parents, but immediately with the Hawaii situation, the sister is totally inept, and you raising another little kid, and you can't even be a good big sister, because not only did you let your sister go to this party with this 30-year-old man, which is crazy, and I'm gonna put shade on military men, because no, they all ain't bad, but my wife was in the military, and I done seen the statistics, and I know what happens, and it happens too often for us to just be willy-nilly about it. We ain't gonna act like it's every person in the military, but we also gonna act like it don't happen a lot. And so you letting the 16-year-old go over there is unacceptable. But also, when she went to hang out with the dude on her own
in his treehouse,
however, you allowing that was so crazy, because even when she buckled, and when sister buckled, it was like, if he does anything you don't like, you leave or whatever. Where is she gonna go? She just
I
went
don't know nobody.
she went on the back of a motorcycle on an island she's never been on. What is she gonna do if she runs away from him? What's she gonna do? Call you? Where you at? I don't know. I see trees and I see a beach and I see the sky. Oh well, you still in Hawaii, I guess, or unless he slept you and took you back to California. Like, what's the protocol for this? There is no protocol. That's why you don't let them go. That's why you don't let a child go unaccompanied or accompanied with a grown man. I thought he was like 19, 20. I was like, until he said he was divorced already, I was like, oh, he must have just been enlisted and he might be 18, 19. This man is 30.
Man. He's a
He's
grown
ass man. And you know he a grown ass man. And you took her to a toga party. This is crazy. And I think that this was important because it's on the family. Every clearly bad decision was on the family. And I think it's important to highlight that because you have to protect the people in your family.
And what made it so sad and the worst thing ever, after all was said and done. And like I said, very much, are you okay with this? Is this fine? Is this okay? Are you sure you're good? All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. And after that, dropping her off, she on the back of this moped. She done known this man 20 minutes, y'all. 20 minutes. I love you. I think I'm falling in love with you. He said, girl.
I could grow to love you also, but I just met you.
Tyra, talk to me about it. Talk to me about Hawaii.
What's the Twilight music that?
She about to go from Jacob to Edward.
I was playing in her head when she was on the back of that motorcycle. She thought she met Edward, child. No, how you feel both of your daughters? You feel both of your kids?
Both.
That little military man went by squat. When she came out of that water, it's just like, can you just get the baby? I'm trying to draw off here. You didn't see him hold that baby, not one. She's doing all the little housework. Like, girl, like, we already see what their dynamic is. I was giving that husband the side eye because the fact that we even would think that, like, oh, is he going to try to pursue her? Is he going to assault her here? Is this their family dynamic? So that said a whole lot about their relationship. And then just not caring about her safety, taking her there. Like, no, I thought he said, your sister hasn't been anywhere and done nothing. I'll watch the baby. Y'all go spend some time together.
I'll take her with me. I'm going to a party. I'll take her.
No, like, yeah, I'm gonna go. Like, yeah, you stay here with the baby. You thought I was like, no, but him and all those 17 steps of consent. That man knew. He knew. When the last time y'all laid with a man or laid with a woman? How many damn times did they ask you for every step of the way? You asked for consent. He knew this was a child. I didn't put it past that husband to be like, I'm gonna let you chill with her, whatever. But don't try nothing. She's still 16. Like, he knew. He knew. Mm-hmm. Oh, this. You sure? So can I take off? I'm taking off. Like, he was protecting himself. But I think this laid the foundation for her to feel unsure or feel secure about the teacher, because it's like, I wanted this. Who's to say I didn't want that either? And she's maybe cross-pollinating the two for this to be something that she was romanticizing, because baby, she was in love on the back of that motorcycle. I think I love you. And love them two pumps. What was that? Girl. Let's talk about that, sir.
I thought she was dissatisfied when she rolled over. I was like, yeah.
I said, did that even count?
Yeah.
Damn two pumps. I was like, oh well. I think he pursued her. He knew what this was. Like I told you, he didn't take the girl to go get a piece of bread. We went by that was a free stroll in the park via motorcycle. Finna take you back to the house and get some cutty. You fresh? How old are you? You a virgin? I'm finna get this. Why he ain't last for 2 seconds? He knew what he brought her there for, but he was trying to present himself as a gentleman. He ain't no better than that predatory teacher. It's just affected her to where she's moving differently once she gets back there, because I wanted this. This is I like him. He's nice. The same thing with this teacher. I like him. He's nice. I wanted this. All the while she's being groomed to think that this is okay, and it's not.
Yeah. And that was the takeaway. And I think I hated it. It was like the gateway, right? It was like, oh, I've been with an older guy before. This is normal, right? So I think it changes the mindset, especially when you're that young, when you start to, have different experiences. It trains your mind to think certain things are normal. And certain things are the status quo. Cause I'm like, girl, there wasn't anybody your age, but I mean the teacher, even before all of this happened, had his eyes on her and his sights on her. He definitely had to see that there were some deficits in her home life
Yeah, predators
that
always.
made her vulnerable. You know what I mean? To him. So listen, listen. We go back to the police, and what does this have to do with it, ma'am? Hawaii's age of consent is 16. You were 16 even if you're not from Hawaii, that's what the rule of law is. And she said, well, no, it's not about him. He's like, well, then why did you bring him up? And that was my question
I,
too. Why are we bringing up
oh,
Hawaii if Hawaii don't have nothing to do with this? This got to do with the teacher. I was confused. My face was tuned up just like Mr. Officer's face was.
girl, this is already they already don't give a damn. Let's start there. They already don't give a damn. These type of cases and scenarios are the hardest to prove, the hardest to have anybody really consider what happened to you and believe you in the first place. Sadly, you don't have a whole lot of room for inconsistency. So when she started off with this story, I was like, girl, we got one shot. We got one shot like Eminem. Girl, can you please, ma'am, why are we here? Unless you're trying to take this man down as well or prosecute that. Let's start with the man. I don't know. And she was just nonchalant sitting in that chair. I think it's because she's not in here for the right purposes. And then she just wanted to talk. She didn't talk to nobody. She just wanted to talk.
She did.
Then there's this one time in band camp where, girl,
that's what I said. Because what got to do with what? How did they even start? Well, it does. It all starts from there. And she's implying the issue because she came home. She ran her mouth to these friends of hers, right? They talking about her in the bathroom. She told Becky Sue, and Becky Sue and told everybody, said that she was getting banged out by some Mexican in Hawaii. I said, oh, the Mexican in Hawaii, what the hell? And so the teacher, hearing everything, you did nothing wrong. Everything is okay. I'm here for you. Okay, talk to me about this teacher in the aftermath. Why did she go home and tell anybody that? You don't even tell nobody that. You keeps it.
She said, I'm grown.
Again, because I wouldn't tell my drunky parents either, because they're gonna do exactly what they did, which is go and have another drink. And he was there. He was not there for her, but he could have just left. He should have left it for you off and just said, I'm here. Because I'm here. Exactly. Not for you, but I'm here for my own selfish predatory purposes. But we ain't gonna say all that part. But make it seem like I'm here. So yeah, you was definitely there, but you weren't there to help her at all. Because all you did was say, "Oh, you didn't. One person that already got you." So I did that to make it easy for me to slide on in here.
Yeah, I think he was like, "Oh, this is the yellow brick road, right?"
Exactly.
Tyra,
I told you he slid up on her in that hallway. Like I heard you was giving it up.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you was serving it up in Hawaii. I'm here for you, girl. I always thought you were cute. Like
going for another round.
The boldness. This is not his first rodeo. This man has been this way for quite some time. Him rolling up on her in the hallway because he's the unexpected, like unassuming. He's the nice white, cool teacher. What he said? Let's get jiggy with it. What the hell he tell them in that class?
Something weird. It was inappropriate.
Let's get shizzle for nizzle, my nizzle. Like what the hell he talking about?
For shizzle dizzle. He said something.
I would have asked for a new teacher.
He's the cool, he's the cool, unassuming teacher. Who's ever going to think that he's trying to pursue anything and he's going to wait? Like we just see that this is. I was surprised that we ended off with them not, because it's apparently it's going to be this slow, grueling process of how she really got taken in to think that this was okay and this was something that she wanted. This man is gross.
Absolutely. Dom. And so then he says, because now we've broken that barrier. We didn't exchange phone numbers. Now we go together real bad. All right. Because we watching a movie and I'm stretching with my arms all above my head, trying to pop my titties out. And he's over there feeling on himself. I'm like, is he feeling on himself in this classroom with all these kids? Like despicable and disgusting. So now that they didn't exchange phone, I said, does this man supposed to have a wife and kids and he blowing up her phone and pager like this? Meet me at Barnes and Noble tonight. And then they doing this little dance in between the shelves, between the Stephanie Meyer section and the YA section. They're doing all the thing. He got his pupper vest. Let's meet in the parking lot. I want to know where you live. Let me take you on a quick little drive. Disgusting. But she says at this point, nothing physical has happened yet. But what's going on, Dom? This is the teacher, and meet me at the Barnes and the Noble.
Yeah, meet me at the altar of your white dress. Because we ain't getting no younger. This is the master manipulator, honestly, because I now have to orchestrate events to make you make the first move. Like I need to make you feel as complicit as me. I need to make it seem like when we get entangled in all of this type of stuff, that it was actually you driving this as much as I was. So yeah, that's why when we got in the car, I'm not gonna kiss you if that's what you're waiting for. It'd be like, oh, this is the push and pull, the mind games. This is I mean, honestly, this is stuff that men do to women all the time and women do to men all the time, but usually it's two consenting adults. And these are the games because we can peep game and we decide if we want to go with it or not. But when you're dealing with a minor, an undeveloped brain, somebody that you have an authority over, and you are manipulating them without their knowledge, without they don't have the faculties to understand the subtext of what you're doing. This is just an elaborate game. So when he does send that, when he sends that drunk text, I got you moving. Yeah, I got you moving just off of a text. I got you dropping with your friends to come see me. I'm reeling you in and winding you up tight. So when I get you, I got you. That's all it is.
Absolutely. I think I'm falling in love with you.
Oh.
He knew that was an instant panty dropper. And this is the moment where she says it did get physical. But again, they don't show that. But they allude to the fact that, well, they don't allude, they tell us that he then takes her to his house that he lived with his wife and children at. The wife is out of town. And that's when it got physical because she's talking to Detective Tyrese. He says, tell me everything. And now they're besties. I got that from Kay. Kay taught me that. Kay taught me that was the man's name the other night. And what's interesting, and you guys alluded to this earlier, the fact that even as this detective who's clearly seniored, right, in the game, and knows what's the firestorm, that's all he basically says to her is make sure your phone is turned off. But, we're filing the felony charges tomorrow. Tyra, talk to me about this. What?
Oh. I don't think she's prepared. She's not prepared. I mean, I do like this depiction of the police department and the whole process of the filing. Nobody really cares, girl. We see, up 10 dozen cases every single day. Like you're just another one. Do know that like he's not briefing her for what this could all mean. And weren't the parents sitting outside also?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they're not prepared for this. Even when they're reflecting, like, okay, they said it's foul. Like the case of like, well, all right, well, yeah, she's not prepared for this, and I think that this is going to do more harm to her than this actual man, especially if he if she hasn't saved anything or besides, those little keepsakes. Who's to say what he's saved? And with him being this mastermind, this manipulator, I'm sure a lot of the stuff that he has is probably showing things in his favor. Everything he's done from the moment of her just being in his crosshairs was to make it go, well, she pursued me.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted me. She even with the Barnes and Nobles. Well, it was a public place. It was Barnes and Nobles. There was people like there's just that up until the escalation of, well, yeah, this happened, but she was coming on to me the whole time. I never this is designed at this moment to be in his favor than hers, and I feel like we're maybe going to go down a journey with her breaking even more than she is now.
Oh yeah, because they're not even equipping her for what court is on. This is just the preliminary. This is just the allegations being made, right? They have to wait for an indictment. They'll have to go through that whole process, and then if it goes to trial, they're gonna rip her out of the frame.
Sit up there and we'll sit across from this man that you're still caring about in some way, form, or fashion, and say what he did to you and get up there. I think it's gonna break her because he's been whatever to her and was just to get her in this position. So when he gets on the stand to tear her down or make her look like she'll be, oh, I thought he cared about me. Like, girl, this finna get on my nerves is what's about to happen.
Oh yeah, you guys already know. Dom, what'd you think of Mr. Detective Tyrese and his lack of preparation? I feel like he didn't equip her.
Well, let me first say that this is further proof that nobody will care about you. Nobody will take care of you except the black man. Because she went to that receptionist, didn't care. Went to that white intake officer, didn't care. You went to the white man getting her a drink, got the record. I'm talking now. He experienced. He talking to her. He getting her comfortable and getting and getting it out of her. The interview process I thought was great. And but yeah, the preparation of the firestorm to come was a little lackluster. And I'm also curious because I don't understand. I know this isn't a legal drama show, but I don't understand how we got all of here off of her say so. And in a sense, like allegations aren't the only thing that goes to court. Like
Yep.
for us to file charges, I need some sort of like, come on now, it can't just be my word. And we know about and that's the other thing about the tag in the beginning. In the tag in the beginning, we know this went to court. We know he got charged with 5 different things, and there was actual a legal proceeding, and they haven't shown anything to necessitate that. Outside of he did this to me a couple years ago, and my word is all I got to show for it. I don't know that they necessitate 5 charges and a court case. What evidence are we bringing? We just
No,
all
they
we just
say they'll indict a ham sandwich. They say in that grand jury room, it don't matter because the defense has no bearing. So if you have a prosecutor who thinks they have a whiff of something, I
yeah,
mean,
but when you got an allegation, because I guess, and I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, so I get it. But the burden of proof is on the prosecution. Like you are innocent until proven guilty, so you got to show at least reasonable cause that this man has
probable
done
cause.
something, probable cause. And I just don't know that an allegation is probable cause. But
There had to
also,
be more to get it to that level. So maybe that'll come out.
maybe it'll come out. And that's why I say maybe these 3 women needed their own season. Each of these 3 women needed their own season
The
because I
problem
need a
is
little
we
bit
wouldn't
more.
have watched Maggie's. We wouldn't have watched. We would have watched Sloane's. We would have watched Lena's just because Lena's off the chain. But we probably wouldn't have watched Maggie's.
No, you're not wrong.
Well, with this being so strongly from her perspective and them kind of cutting it off, we don't see anything. Is there a universe where Maggie is lying?
There is.
Just ask.
People
I-
lie.
People do
And
lie.
and he's a man who's been found not guilty. And I think that begs the question then, because false allegations are made every day against people, and they walk around with the stigma of predator, of whatever, even if they're found not guilty, right? And so that does kind of beg that question. Could Maggie be lying? What y'all think? Drop it in the
It,
chat. What do you guys think
if
on the
this
channel?
if this wasn't based on a true story, then I would, or if this book wasn't written with like the consent of the women, I would have been like, yeah, that'd have been a great plot twist. At the end, is just this was all she was just lying. But I just know, I don't think they'll ever definitively say that she was lying because no, I don't think Maggie would have gave her consent for somebody to write a book or make a show about her story if that was going to be how it ended. And so they might allude to it, but I don't think the show will definitively tell us if it was like, oh yeah, she was making it up or it was all in her head. That would be great for the therapy session to reveal that. Like at the season finale, he gets acquitted, and then through the therapy session, we just find out that this was some Twilight fantasy of hers. That would be great TV. It would be good TV.
But it's like what Tyra said. It's so hard to prove even in real time, and you add 5 years to that. It's so hard to
got to
have
be
any
something.
evidence of it. There has
Because
to
we
be
know with the Texans, with how obsessive she is, I would see her keeping everything that man ever gave sent to her. Like I don't see her deleting anything. Like she doesn't, she only kept the little mementos that are in the book, and then it's like, oh, these are the things that he gave to me. Because she's off, like all the rest of them in the show. She's off. So it did cross my mind.
Okay, what do you think? Could Maggie be lying about it all?
I think she's lying to herself. about the nature of the relationship. I'm pretty sure that he saw a means to take advantage of this young girl because he probably seen she was a little off, she was a little different, and know that she ain't got parents that care about her. But the relationship, because she thought that Stephanie Meyer was gonna write the next book about her and that man. That's how far gone she was. She was so far gone. She thought they was gonna be the next book.
She probably
That was gonna be Milky Way Galaxy.
I mean, she is on cloud nine. Maggie's on cloud nine at this point. She's back at her therapist's office, and he says, remember this moment because things are about to get a little tougher. I want you to remember this is your North Star. Hold on to how you feel in this moment. I mean, she's so gleeful. She's so excited that she reported him. She's on the figure skates. Look, cheesing ear to ear like Roger Rabbit. Like she is living her best life on them skates. Detective Tyrese calls her and says, listen, homegirl, it's hitting the fan. It's going down today. Daddy's in the background saying, my baby, my Olympic star, she's back. She's going to be all right. She's going to be all right. And so I want to know from you guys, I'm going to start with you, Kay. What's next? What's next for Maggie? What's about to happen? What's about to befall Maggie?
Unless she got a lawyer like Annalise, it's not looking too good for her. She needs an Olivia Pope or somebody on her side. Because see, when you're dealing with white male patriarchy and it comes to their job and recognition, he gonna go out and get the biggest, baddest person. Mm-hmm. Especially so that he don't look bad in front of his community and his family and stuff. He gonna get a big bad. And if she ain't got no big bad in her corner, they're gonna rip her to shreds. She's gonna be all types of Helga Pataki with a shrine of Mr. Teacher's head in the corner made out of old chewing gum.
Arnold, my love.
And that's what critical thinkers saying, and the town will probably close ranks and protect the teacher to protect their town, to protect the school, to protect the decency, right, of this small town. Dom, what do you think is next for Mags?
I think because everybody in her life has set her up for failure, that she's about to have an experience that's going to be just as traumatic as what started all this. I feel like the only part where I felt like the therapist dropped the ball is when he told her to hold on to this moment. I feel like he should have followed that up with whatever happens, hold on to this moment, because the important part is what happened. So even if the justice system does not support it or go in your favor, you need to be secure in the fact that what happens. I feel like that needed to be reinforced because this is about to. I feel like the dad actually is the only part where the dad wasn't horrible because give her one last happy day because she don't have no more after this. Like this is it. This is it. Because the town gonna turn on her. And this is a small town, Fargo. We didn't see. It's been a movie about Fargo. It's a TV show about Fargo. We know Fargo, small town, and in North Dakota, Nowheresville. So the whole town is gonna be against her. She's gonna walk around with a scarlet letter on her forehead, and then she's gonna have to get back on these skates and not figure skate because that was not her figure skating, and they couldn't have made it any less not her. That they cut that crazy. I was like, that is not her figure skating. But
feet, legs, feet, face.
I was like, come on now. But no, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. I don't know how long the process is gonna be, but the whole every day is gonna be rough. And I don't see anybody in her life that's equipped or motivated to help her out.
Maybe Dad will step up. Tyra, what say you? What's next for the Magster?
She about to cry. He about to. Did you see that first episode when he realized she sent me like she's still here? I thought I was rid of her. I thought I would never have to see her. She's
that trash man over. He gotta be mad.
This man is finna fight now just to keep up this lie, to make himself look innocent. And the only way to do that is to tarnish her. They're gonna bring up them alcoholic parents. They definitely, which is why they made sure to put in Hawaii and the 31-year-old man. They definitely gonna use that against her. Oh, yeah. They gonna throw the book at her, and they are. She is, according to them, like not this innocent man, especially if he doesn't have an inkling or history, anything in his background. She has no evidence, and it's just her word against his, they finna rip her to shreds. Your hair is uneven. You never did anything with your life. Look, what is 5, 6 years? You're working at a Denny's. What are you doing with your life? Like, they are gonna rip her up, and I just feel bad because I'm like, who's gonna be there to lift her? Are the parents gonna step up? Like, what's gonna happen to her when he is, acquitted of everything? Will she heal anyway? And will she get the bigger picture of what this means? Because she's all kind of like Glee, but it's almost like, I get to sit across from him. I wonder if he's thinking about me. I wonder what's going to happen when we're in the courtroom when he sees me. Like, it's like, no, girl, this isn't that. This man is. I think she's in for a rude awakening. He's going to say that harlot, that bed wench. She pulled me into. Girl, he finna try to throw Maggie in the garbage, and I don't want to be there to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be real bad. Poor Maggie. But y'all, that was Mag's episode. No games, no fun, no nothing with her. We needed to get her off the table. Just needed to be done with it. And I just hate it because her story is not unique, right? Like, and that's the sad part. I think that's kind of the heartbreaking part of it all, is that so many young women and men have been a Maggie, have been in this situation, have this idea of what love is, and it's perpetuated by a predatory relationship, and they carry that into the world with them, and they can either become predators, right? Or they can realize it 10, 15, 20 years down the road and then want to speak up. And then it's like, dang, but now he has 10, 20 more years of victims. She has 10, 20 more years of victims. It's like it's a lose-lose situation across the board. But you guys, thank you so much for being here. I think we got up to like 50 some people here tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming to talk Three Women. But let me give you guys the floor. Tyra, what you got going on?
Oh man, we could be first.
Yeah.
You never come to me first. Y'all know what's up. Y'all
mixed
know
it up tonight.
I am currently working on my Strictly Business video and finishing the editing on that so I can drop it and get into training day and get my skit together. Working on some members only things. Also, be on the lookout for what the hell I got coming? From be on the lookout for my solo recap of From, please, and go and support that if you are watching the show, as well as our Tuesday breakdowns. Drop down and suggest some of the newer, better movies that you guys have watched recently, because our well is dry. So Monday, as far as our new movie type of breakdown watch discussion, I don't think, because it's just dry county these days, so it's nothing really we want to talk about there. But we will definitely be back here for From, and I will definitely be dropping my solo video for Strictly Business and From episode 3. So be on the lookout for that, please. Thank you.
Thank you much. Okay, what's going over there at Slice of Horror?
A lot of horror stuff going. Yes, we do have From coming up. I will do my theories video, my theory short, because I got a new theory, y'all. I got a new theory, so I'm gonna put it in a short, and then we're gonna talk about it as a panel on Tuesday. Y'all know we got Grotesquerie coming up this week. Of course, Reasonable Doubt we have coming up this week. I dropped a video for Speak No Evil. I dropped a review for Salem's Lot. We have our members only watch along Saturday, Bones. Click the memberships. Also, our watch along for Mr. Crockett is Friday. That one is a public watch along. That is going to be Friday after Reasonable Doubt. I'm also probably going to do, of course, episode 3 of The Penguin for on Wednesday. I'm thinking about doing a review for Daryl and Carol, because y'all know I loved Walking Dead, and watching a movie called Slice that Tyra told me about. That has been on my list for a while, and I still ain't did nothing about it. So I'm getting on that this week.
Thank you, Kay. Dom over at Screen Static Studios. What's going on?
What's going on? Look, we got some stuff going on. I got a new video series. It's called Let's Talk About It, and where I just pick a movie-related topic that I feel passionate about, and I just talk about it for a little bit. And it's usually something that's going to get people upset and want to debate, because I like a good debate. The first video is about how Scarlet Witch in the MCU has always been a villain. She didn't just turn to a villain. She was a villain the whole time. And so go watch that. And then this week is going to be what's wrong with the Jurassic Park franchise. Like, why can't they get together? And we're going to talk about that. And then my Penguin drops tonight. So the Penguin Live will be tomorrow night. And so come through for that. And then the Terrifier 3 comes out this week, so I'll be reviewing that. So just come on through.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out with us tonight and talking Three Women. I know it was sensitive subject matter, but thank you for being here and being live in the chat as always. Thank you so, so much. And I hope you guys have a great night and a great week this week. See you guys in the next video.
Thank you. Thank you.